today, like what we're seeing in social media and in actual popular culture media, like on fucking TV and the Times, all of this, that's what's frustrating is I can understand everything she's saying. Like, hey, he didn't kill anybody. Like, can we give this dude some grace and move on? Like, we don't need to ruin his entire life over a cheating scandal. He has taken his beating. He did not take it well. He was on the road with his quote unquote band, talking shit on stage. Like, he wasn't doing a good job. In the scenes where he's like, yeah, I handled like shit. Honestly, on a reality TV show, that scene where he's like, yeah, I handled everything like shit. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's move on from this now. But because of the way he's behaving today, it makes everything, all of these conversations almost seem null and void because she's like, we can't ruin his life over this. It's like, well, his life doesn't seem to be ruined. He doesn't seem to give too many shits about all of this. So I'm now curious, now that I'm like spinning the wheel a little bit, is that because did he found this newfound confidence because he's now cool with people in the group again? So we're seeing like after the season ended, he's cool with everybody. So now he's going back on the offensive where he's like, no, I'm going to be myself and just talk shit again rather than be humble and kind of just take his lashings.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's either that or it went complete the opposite and everybody hates him again. So now he really doesn't care. One of those two things happen, but there's no way that it's somewhere in the middle where he's got a couple of them here and there scattered throughout. It'll be more interesting, like David was talking about earlier. I want to see what Scheana has to say about the article. I want to see what Lala has to say about the article. DJ James Kennedy has to say something. So there's a lot of things that we need to get out there. Obviously, Katie commented on it right away and said, what the fuck is this? Rightfully so. Everybody else needs to chime in, and then we'll have a better understanding of where they are. And if they don't chime in, their silence says a lot.
And where is Lisa's comment? When is that coming?
But I guess that's my biggest gripe then. We shouldn't have to wait for real-time answers today when we're watching a show that happened months ago. We should be able to watch this show and find out what's happening next, not gauge the reaction of the group based on him going to the Times or on the Vial files.
Well, then why is Bravo letting him do it? Bravo can block anything they want.
Because they know it's good press. They know people are going to watch because they read the Times article today. Any press is good press. There's no such thing as bad press. People tuned in tonight simply because they saw that headline that Tom Sandoval compared himself to George Floyd.
That's a good point.
And I think Tom, starting with the Howie Mandel and everything, I think, Tom's not a newbie. Like, I think he does do, like, I don't think, you know how it works. The newbies, they ask Bravo for permission. Bravo says, no podcast today, dear. And then there's people like Tom that are like, yeah, I'm doing whatever I want. And there's no asking. So I think he just has gone rogue. I mean, it's much larger discussion, and these are not the exact same thing. But like, I mean, we did let Dodie go. We did let Stassi go. We did let, Jax go. I guess none of that means anything because Jax is back and Dodie's back. Stassi doesn't want to be back. So it's just like, I don't know, like, just how's Bravo going to react to this, or will there be no reaction? I'm just curious.
That's actually a question that a lot of people raised in comments and stuff today. If you're reading, it's like, is he going to be fired for this? Is there going to be repercussions for this? And I think honestly, and this is a shitty thing to say, I think it's going to depend on how this season does. Genuinely. And it shouldn't, because that is a fireable offense. It was a fucking insane thing to say, especially in the New York Times, which is not the most reputable source anymore by any means. It's kind of clickbait shit regardless now. But I think that it's going to come down to that. I think it's literally, how did this season go? Can we afford to not have him back? And I think that the answer, regardless, is a resounding no. Like, we need him. They need him. There's no other way to look at this show without him in the picture, especially the way it's going now. Because
Tom Sandoval with leverage is a scary thing.
It's terrifying.
It's a scary thing, and there is leverage. The ratings are huge, so they're not. I mean, and the ratings are not huge almost anywhere else in the Bravoverse these days. Beverly Hills is doing good, but that's possibly where it right. So this is like the darling of the network. I mean, I wasn't sure. I really was like, because we're all saying like, how are we gonna? We're here in a whole season of Scandoval, and we're like, what? So I really thought it would come back, and all these people that tell me they're not going to watch, the ratings weren't going to be good, and here we are. They are. So I think Tom is coming back, and I do think it depends on the season, but I don't see the numbers going down that drastically.
No, they won't. No, they won't. But The next scene is kind of like we jump back and forth between the pool party and the worst named place I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Please
And
say it again.
Intimacy. And the premise of this place is great because it's got like ice baths, cold
I love the
plunges. It's
name.
got
Why do you hate the
why?
name? I think the name's
It's so
great.
not. No,
Dude,
it's
that's
not.
clever.
Oh, you know why I hate it?
Why?
What's that? There's a movie. Oh my God! Jesus! Did you guys see The Love Guru with Michael Myers?
Oh
No.
God, why? I never thought
did
that you'd
not.
be referencing this.
He plays a love guru, and he talks about intimacy. Into me, I see.
Maybe that's where they
stuck
got
in
it.
my brain. It's a bad name. I don't think it was very clever.
All right, I
That's
think
all
you're a
it
bit of
is.
a hater, but it's okay.
You saw Intimacy, and you're like, "Oh, great call."
I didn't even. It went in one ear and out the other ear.
Oh,
was
these are
like,
the things that
okay.
I get stuck
We
on,
watch this
David.
very differently.
I like get stuck on other things. Like I'm stuck on way back at the pool party when he's like Casa Kennedy. James said the Casa Kennedy like 5 times. Doesn't Allie live there? I don't know.
That's a good
Oh,
point.
that's a good point.
That's what
a very
stuck
good
out
point.
to me. I was like, and Donut. We have a new dog, Donut. Those are the two things that.
Donut's great.
But I don't know.
Great.
I mean, Casa Kennedy. Like I'm like, what about? I don't understand. Allie's standing right there. Like what?
Not
Is
only
that
that, but at the
Bothered
end of
me.
the pool party scene when they have to show an airplane flying over their house, like come on, leave them alone. They got a house near the airport. We don't have to recall that. There's no way a plane went over at that point.
They
Yeah.
also shopped smart. They bought a house within their means. It's a nice place. You don't have to highlight that they live near the
Yeah.
airport. It's okay. Like it's okay, guys. But
I have highlighted it many times.
have you?
Well, I'm between New York and LA, so I am in LA now. I personally would never buy a place near the airport, even if it was a good deal. And I messed up the airport, so everyone online came for me. I said LAX. Apparently, it's the Burbank Airport. Sorry, I don't know exactly where James Kennedy lives.
I
They
just
came
assumed it
after
was
you for
LAX
that?
too. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
it's-
funny.
It's the Burbank Airport, according to our lovely listeners here today.
How
so
dare
now
you?
I know that. Right. How dare I?
Get your airport
Regardless,
right.
I don't want to hear planes. I just don't want to. So
That's fair.
Fair. Okay, that's fair.
I
But
mean, there are other
right.
areas in LA where you can get a good deal ish. Well, excuse me. There's other areas in LA which are less expensive than very expensive. How's that?
Yeah, my brother lives in Los Feliz, so we actually went out there to visit him not too long ago. But not that that's pertinent to anything, but just to let you know. But
So you've
let's-
seen the LA.
Fun fact.
Okay, go ahead. Fun
Yes.
fact.
But let's get into me see and this scene with Billy Lee. For whatever reason, she's back. I mean, I know why she's back because somebody has to film with Sandoval. But again, I feel like that was a misstep by Bravo. I think that it would have done them a lot of favors if we had to watch Sandoval flounder a little bit to try to find these connections again within the group, because Schwartz is open to it.